Now it's my pleasure to introduce today's speaker, our keynote speaker. But I'd like to preface that introduction by saying that county leadership and staff have been superb partners to the Regional Business Alliance on issues of mutual concern through their participation in the extension of PPRTA, the recent federal trip to Washington, D.C., Ballot 1A, which the Business Alliance supported, making citizens aware of the impacts of federal sequestration, and a key related resolution that was signed this past month. And if Washington would just read your resolution, I think we'd be safe. From a business development standpoint, the county's support at the leadership level and across departments is exceptional and contributed to the success of our efforts with the Ball Seal expansion and the Walmart data center, just to name a few. Amy Lathen is Colorado grown. She was born in Denver and settled in Colorado Springs with her family in 1984. She graduated from Rampart High School and then from UCCS with a BA in psychology. And yet, she went into politics. Certainly an asset for any elected official. She is married to Bob and they have 3 children. Amy currently serves as member or liaison to over 15 offices, departments, and agencies, including the Highway Advisory Commission, Rural Transportation Authority, El Paso County Public Health, and others. One of Amy's greatest priorities has been to improve the El Paso County Land Development Code in order to protect private property rights and create a better environment for business throughout the county, while focusing on excellence in citizen service. She partnered with the Business Alliance on Barriers to Business, a citizen collaboration tasked with making recommendations on significant code improvements and other business-related initiatives. She has increased the amount of road and bridge dollars coming into District 2 through the reprioritization of existing dollars, and has been instrumental in reducing spending and overall size and scope of El Paso County government. We are indeed fortunate to have Amy as chair of the board of the El Paso County Commissioners. Please join me in a warm welcome for Amy.
Well, you're a tall guy.
I know.
I'm a kind of tall girl. That works out all right.
I do some engineering.
Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you, Joe, Regional Business Alliance, for hosting this great event and allowing us to provide this kind of a report to all of you. I also want to thank all of the county elected officials and city elected officials that are here today. You took time out of your schedules that I know are very busy to be here. We appreciate that. And I also want to thank all of the people in the business community for taking time away from the job site and from where you work every day, the cash register, everything that you do to be here for this report. I would be very remiss if I did not also thank our El Paso County staff members who are here today, all of our staff members who are just such a tremendous blessing to me to work with, and especially our public information staff who worked so hard on putting all of this together and are working very hard on that city video right now as we speak. So thank you, Dave Rose and Joel Cuvillan, Nancy Nelson, Jennifer Brown, all of you. Thank you for what you've done to help put this together. The State of the Region is a much appreciated opportunity to inventory events, accomplishments, and challenges as 2012 draws to a close, and then to look ahead into 2013 and the opportunities and challenges that are just over the horizon. For all of us who live and work in El Paso County, this has been a truly a year like no other. The Waldo Canyon fire was an event like no other. It was the most destructive wildfire in Colorado history. 2 people lost their lives. Neighborhoods were destroyed. Over 30,000 of us were displaced. Our summer tourists changed their plans, and our hearts were broken as those horrible angry flames raced over that ridgeline into our city. Of course, the flames have long been doused. Rebuilding is underway. The visitors are coming back, and recovery is now our mission. We will not dwell on the fire, but its impacts and lessons cannot be ignored.
And 523, Global Airdrop. Half a rotor disc up slope on the next shot.
El Paso County's Incident Command Center was set up by the Sheriff's Office in Green Mountain Falls on Saturday afternoon, June 23, 2012. Temperatures were in the 90s, and the flames, which had started not far from the popular Waldo Canyon hiking trail, were being whipped into an inferno by the wind. Firefighters from throughout the region responded, but it quickly became clear that the dedicated funding, expertise, manpower, and equipment available only through the federal Type 1 Incident Command structure were needed. Joining our wildland fire crew, Forest Service personnel, and the sheriff, Commissioner Sally Clark, County Administrator Jeff Green, County Attorneys Bill Lewis and Amy Folsom, and I went to the Sheriff's Command Center on Saturday night to sign the delegation of authority for the firefight to a federal Type 1 incident team. It's an important and necessary step before national disaster resources can be deployed. Sunday evening, the federal Type 1 incident team assumed management of the firefight. Working around the clock with firefighters from around the country were county departments and agencies ranging from county highways and fleet services to information technology, public health, procurement, and public information. El Paso County's IT, with support from Cisco Systems, installed the telecommunications infrastructure to provide the Type 1 Incident Command Center established at Holmes Middle School critical telephone, mobile radio, and Wi-Fi communications. County administrative staff copied and assembled thousands of pages of tactical and strategy plan documents overnight, every night, so that teams on each line of the fire would have the latest GIS and hotspot maps, as well as types and locations of available equipment and support services. County procurement manned the phones around the clock to ensure that fuel, spare parts, and supplies were available when and where they were needed. County Highway Department bulldozers, water tankers, mechanics, and operators joined colleagues from Colorado Springs Utilities, the Air Force Academy, City of Colorado Springs, Fort Carson, and others. During the firefight, the Colorado Division of Local Affairs and Office of Emergency Management asked the county to stand up a disaster recovery center. County facilities and IT personnel had 24 hours to reopen, equip, and supply the vacant Department of Human Services building at 105 North Spruce, which served as a one-stop location where evacuees could come for immediate assistance with interim food, clothing, furniture, childcare, mental health counseling, health care, assistance with pets, cash, and fuel. The list of organizations and agencies who came together at the El Paso County Disaster Recovery Center is too long to list here in its entirety, but it included representatives from all of the major insurance carriers to answer policyholders' questions. Verizon and Cisco contributed telecommunications equipment. Regional Building, Colorado Springs Utilities, Care and Share, the Department of Human Services, Pikes Peak Workforce Center, the State Insurance Commissioner, the Red Cross, Peak Vista, SET Family Medical, Goodwill Industries, Salvation Army, El Paso County Veterans Services, Aspen Point, City of Colorado Springs, El Paso County Public Health, Pikes Peak Association of Realtors, Housing and Building Association, and more. In addition, Walmart Corporation, through Gary Peacock, gave $100,000 for fire recovery efforts. Nearly 3,000 Colorado Springs area evacuees received immediate assistance and valuable information at the El Paso County Disaster Recovery Center, thanks to the commitment of volunteers and the collaboration of businesses, nonprofits, and government agencies who came together, determined to help. In its aftermath, the Waldo Canyon fire has left behind 18,000 acres of baked and barren mountainous terrain. Just add water, and flooding is guaranteed. Our first priority was to get information about flood insurance out to all residents living in areas that are now in danger of flooding. Shortly after the fire, El Paso County's Centennial Hall was filled with citizens eager for information about the flood insurance program, efforts to mitigate the risks of flooding, and steps toward recovery from this disastrous fire. Once again, El Paso County, City of Colorado Springs, state and federal agencies joined together to get things done. And speaking of getting things done, one of the outcomes of these meetings was federal legislation to waive, for residents in our area, the 30-day wait requirement built into the National Flood Insurance Program. Less than 3 weeks after the fire was declared under control, a common, ordinary summer rain over an upper section of the burn scar triggered a mudslide, forcing closure of Highway 24, destroying the playground equipment at Ute Pass Elementary School, washing out numerous private driveways and flooding basements in the Ute Pass area. With fall classes ready to start, Manitou School District 14 asked the county to help with efforts to protect students from the risk of flash flooding. In partnership with the school district, County Public Services installed a system of trap bag barriers to protect the school from the kind of flooding that will now become commonplace in the Ute Pass area. The Forest Service dropped straw and wood chips by helicopter on parts of the scar, but it is only a small first step toward what is needed to reduce the risk of flooding off the scar. A critical engineering assessment of the burn scar is underway to determine the types of flood mitigation structures and proper locations of those structures that are needed. El Paso County, Colorado Springs Utilities, city, state, and federal agencies are all working together, meeting regularly with federal and state officials and collaborating with volunteer groups to reduce the risks. But we look ahead to spring and summer with mixed emotions, recognizing how badly we need a good soaking rain over most of the county and how desperately we need for the rain to fall over the burn scar just a little bit at a time. I want to thank the Colorado Springs Regional Business Alliance for its tremendous support for the extension of the PPRTA. Widening, safety, and drainage improvements on El Paso County's completion of Mark Shuffle Road expansion to 4 lanes north from Highway 24 is an important improvement for traffic on the east side of Colorado Springs, and the completion of safety improvements on Hodgen Road is another big project completed this year. But there were many, many smaller projects completed across the region, including 111 lane miles of new asphalt, 110 miles of chip seal treatment, almost 50 miles of gravel roadway improvements, 8 miles of sidewalk plus curbs and gutters, and more than 24,000 potholes filled. With voter approval of the PPRTA extension, work is already beginning on safety, capacity, and maintenance projects spelled out in PPRTA 2. And all of us at El Paso County will be working hard to make sure that PPRTA's stellar record of promises kept remains intact. One important traffic safety improvement that I should mention in the southern part of the county was not part of the PPRTA collaboration. El Paso County's new pedestrian bridge over B Street replaces a dangerous crossing where school kids had to overcome 6 lanes of traffic and 2 sets of railroad tracks just to get to school. It was designed and built by the Corps of Engineers, working alongside El Paso County traffic engineers. Now that it's finished, the Army has an expanded and much more efficient rail facility to support its mission. Kids have a safer walk to school, traffic flows more efficiently, and a neighborhood once divided has been sewn together. Did I mention it will also play an important role in connecting city, county, and Fort Carson trail systems in that area? We still don't know if they've found oil in El Paso County, but we do know that exploration is being done here. It's being done in a responsible manner. State and local regulations are being followed, and the industry is getting along just fine with El Paso County. After months of hard work by the local government designee, Diana May, from our county attorney's office, our Development Services Department, the Board of County Commissioners, and the Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission have agreed to require testing of nearby water wells before, during, and after exploration for oil and natural gas. The county has also adopted reasonable rules to deal with emergency management and noxious weeds, as well as mitigating damage to our roads. Working together with the industry and the state hasn't always been an easy process, but it is a highly successful collaboration and is being considered as a model for other areas of the state.
We abide by the 3 rules: reduce, reuse, and recycle. So we want to reduce what we buy first, make sure that you only buy the amount that you need. Then our second thought is always reuse it. So anything that comes in here, we look to see if it's reusable. It's put out on our drop and swap here where anybody is able to come and take it if you need it, free to the public.
El Paso County's Household Hazardous Waste Disposal Facility is another successful collaboration with industry. The purpose of this county facility is to keep hazardous materials and materials that should be recycled out of our landfills. So far this year, it has recycled 154,000 pounds of old electronics, 68,000 gallons of paint, 18,000 household batteries, and more than 10,000 gallons of used motor oil. In collaboration with neighborhood groups, businesses, volunteers, and city agencies, this facility supports neighborhood cleanups, citywide Christmas tree recycling, slash and mulch programs, and more, all aimed at keeping bad things out of our landfills and junk from piling up in our neighborhoods.
We have now instituted what we call our data media program, which includes things like VHS tapes, cassettes, CDs, all those old kind of things that you wouldn't even, that I'm always surprised that people even still have, the floppy disks, the large disks, 8-track tapes, any of those kind of things.
This facility is funded entirely by tipping fees, which are paid by trash haulers when they use area landfills. And while we're getting rid of things, this is the best way to get rid of noxious weeds in Bear Creek Regional Park. No, not those noxious weeds. These goats really have the munchies. Not to mention their hard work in mowing down vegetation, which might otherwise become a fire hazard. In collaboration with the Bear Creek Garden Association, the annual return of the goats to Bear Creek Regional Park may not be as romantic as the swallows' return to Capistrano, but it's become its own attraction for park visitors. Across the street, we have another group of 4-footed park users and another group of hardworking 2-footed volunteers supporting the facility. Friends of the dog park contribute thousands of hours of labor each year to maintain one of the most heavily used parks in the region. Thanks to their ongoing support and a grant from Great Outdoors Colorado, 2012 has seen the completion of major erosion control and drainage work in the park, as well as a new restroom facility and fencing. Thanks to a donated modular building and the hard work of volunteers out in the eastern part of the county, a new outreach center on the county fairgrounds in Calhoun is a place where residents on the Eastern Plains can go to get help from nonprofit agencies like Pikes Peak United Way, the Resource Exchange, and the Alzheimer's Association, as well as county-affiliated agencies like the Department of Human Services and Pikes Peak Workforce Center. Thanks to collaboration with many partners, the Outreach Center is up and running, with not much more than the cost of utilities. The county also joined a number of partners in a collaborative effort to make the Cheyenne Mountain Shooting Complex a reality. I hope many of you will add to your calendars on January 23rd the official grand opening celebration for the first phase of the new range. Open to the public, but operated by Fort Carson's Morale, Welfare, and Recreation Enterprise, this is a groundbreaking, first-of-its-kind partnership which had to be approved by the Secretary of the Army. The Colorado Division of Parks and Wildlife, Colorado Lottery, the NRA, El Paso County citizens, and others are partners with the Army and the county in making this a reality. The presentation of a $2.5 million Colorado Lottery Funds grant to build and improve trails and recreation facilities along Fountain Creek in southern El Paso County was really a joint effort between El Paso County and the city of Pueblo. In making the grant, state officials acknowledged that they were impressed by the project because it demonstrated cooperation and collaboration across multiple jurisdictions.
Fountain Creek Watershed Trails and Recreation Project, $2.5 million.
Thanks to our many volunteers who play a critical role in the success of El Paso County's 2 award-winning nature centers located at Fountain Creek and Bear Creek Regional Parks. As a result of private fundraising efforts and support from Colorado Lottery dollars, expansion of the Fountain Creek Nature Center will provide classroom, meeting, and exhibit space for the busloads of schoolchildren who find the nature centers to be an unforgettable learning experience. Volunteers also play a big part in the ongoing success of our El Paso County Fair. Our fairground facilities are being used by more citizens year-round than ever before. From popular dirt track races, which are scheduled from May to September, to a variety of equestrian and rodeo-style events, and even trade fairs and meetings. Our fairground facilities are a tremendous asset to El Paso County. Speaking of volunteers and partnerships, our annual Feed the Children event happens this time every year. It's always been a partnership and collaboration between El Paso County DHS and the faith-based community. Each year it grows with support from Mercy Springs, Springs Church, the Music Evangelism Foundation, Goodwill Industries, and more. This growing annual event demonstrates once again that when our community, our citizens, our businesses, and our region come together and work together, we can do so much.
Well, that Feed the Children event is coming up this Saturday at Springs Church near the Chapel Hills Auto Mall. Truckloads of food will arrive late on Friday night, and volunteers from county staff, churches, nonprofits, and businesses will be there to unload. More volunteers will arrive in the early darkness of Saturday morning. Home Depot and Lowe's will set up stations where kids get the opportunity to build something. There will be free haircuts, dental exams, and photos with Santa. All of us commissioners, Commissioner Littleton, Commissioner Glenn, Commissioner Heisey, Commissioner Clark, and myself will all be there working alongside with these volunteers to help direct traffic and hand out toys, clothing, and food to families in need. I cannot begin to thank all of the businesses and organizations who volunteer their time, sponsor special parts of this event, and donate their money. It is an extraordinary outreach effort throughout El Paso County, and we are honored to coordinate it each and every year. In addition to this generosity, extraordinary contributions of equipment, manpower, and money came in during and after the fire. Again, I especially want to thank Walmart and Gary Peacock, who, through Walmart, gave $100,000 to that fire recovery fund. And of course, his ongoing support of El Paso County programs and events, and especially Feed the Children. And of course, there are others here that I see who are active supporters of our parks and nature centers, who bid and buy during annual 4-H auctions, who sponsor entertainment at the county fair, or sponsor events like our Citizens College, volunteer appreciation events, and Feed the Children. Thank you so much for all you do for our entire region. There is no way that we could do what we do and serve the people that we serve without all of those partnerships. Now, speaking of partnerships, you just saw the beginnings of the Cheyenne Mountain Shooting Complex. And I want to remind you, and yes, those were our real guns, I want to remind you that you can be a part of this historic partnership by participating financially if you desire or if you are able, either as an individual or as a business. There are forms on your table. They look like these. They're all over on everyone's tables. This provides a tremendous amount of information about this amazing partnership that we have with Fort Carson. Please do mark your calendars for July 23rd for our grand opening and ribbon shooting. That's not a ribbon cutting, that's a ribbon shooting. Earlier in the video, I made it a point to thank the leadership of the Colorado Springs Business Alliance and several others for their support of the PPRTA extension. But I also want to say thank you for your support of the Sheriff's Ballot Issue 1A. The question itself came about with little time, without the benefit of a well-organized committee to put out press releases and hammer in yard signs. There was no real budget for advertising, but it passed because of the leadership and support from the business community and the citizens who recognize that safety and security is a core function of county government, serving all citizens of this region, including the municipalities. That one deputy watching over 100 inmates in our jail is not enough. That one deputy on a dangerous call without any backup is not appropriate. And that Sheriff Terry Makita wouldn't have asked if it hadn't been necessary. And I know he was not able to be here today, but I especially want to thank Sheriff Terry Makita for all that he does for the citizens of El Paso County. I also appreciate the ongoing leadership and support of the Business Alliance in our efforts to streamline county land use regulations. Recommendations from the Barriers to Business group have led to simplification of our commercial and industrial zone classifications and administrative approvals of minor changes to land use plans, all of which eliminate the need for a more costly and time-consuming review by the Planning Commission. Their work has also led to removal of unnecessary and confusing restrictions on equipment installed at telecommunications sites, simplification of home business starts, and the extension of previously approved deadlines for development of approved plats. This group continues to work with our development services staff to reduce unnecessary fees and streamline the development review process. We are the only county in the state which has no countywide business personal property tax, and El Paso County continues to have by far the lowest cost of service per citizen of any of Colorado's 10 largest counties at $135 per person for everything annually. The Pikes Peak Regional Business Department is a highly efficient partnership which serves El Paso County, the city of Colorado Springs, and the smaller municipalities within the county. I want to recognize and thank Henry Yankowski and his group for their response after the fire. They moved very quickly to establish a temporary modular office in the northwest Colorado Springs area where inspectors were accessible without appointment to assist homeowners in assessing the damage to their homes and provide very, very needed information to get them on the road to recovery. I appreciate also the leadership and collaboration of the Regional Business Alliance and the University of Colorado in bringing together 3 prominent U.S. senators to discuss the damage that would be done to both our national security and local economic viability if the current budget battle in Washington is not resolved. Following that UCCS town hall meeting with Senators McCain, Graham, and Ayotte, the El Paso County Commissioners passed unanimously and sent to Washington a resolution calling on Congress and the President to develop and implement a responsible national budget and put an end to the threat of irresponsible automatic defense cuts that would leave our country weak and vulnerable in a very dangerous world. The commissioners and other county elected officials attended that sequestration town hall meeting at UCCS. We appreciate the university's leadership in putting it together, and beyond that, we see the awesome potential for economic development that a growing and vibrant university campus brings to our region. We look forward to exploring new opportunities for partnership and collaboration with the university, which will benefit our entire region. We were encouraged to learn from the Quality of Life Indicators report that citizens are responding favorably to our ongoing efforts to improve transparency and increase engagement in county government. Trust has increased. Our county website, elpasoco.com, was given a grade of A- from the nonprofit citizens group Sunshine Review. Now, I don't like the minus, really working on the minus to become a plus, hopefully by the end of the year. We're working on that. But our El Paso County YouTube channel also now offers 64 informational videos, this is when you need to go to sleep at night, on everything from how to become a county vendor to transportation management to where to look for election results. We appreciate G.E. Johnson and Olson Plumbing for their sponsorship of our Citizens College this year. And in the year ahead, we will be looking for more sponsors to assist in getting that program out to more students. Just last week, we were talking with UCCS about exploring ways that we might partner with the university and local school districts to share more about what we do, our constitutional responsibilities, and how good, limited governance makes such a difference in all of our daily lives. Over the past 5 years, more than $22 million in private donations to economic development programs and projects like the Regional Business Alliance, human service programs like the Marion House, and arts and culture organizations like the Fine Arts Center have been received through the El Paso County Enterprise Zone. Did you know that in addition to allowable IRS deductions, there is also a 25% state tax credit for eligible contributions made through the Enterprise Zone? Also, over the last 5 years, El Paso County has sponsored nearly $60 million in private revenue bonds for nonprofits serving our region. These bonds have helped to finance facilities at Colorado College, the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, Pikes Peak Hospice, and Rocky Mountain Healthcare Services. Additionally, the county has sponsored more than $100 million in revenue bonds programs, which have provided loans to approximately 800 first-time home buyers, financed 62 units of multifamily housing, all at no cost to taxpayers. As we look ahead to a new year, we can comfortably predict that it will be filled with both challenges and opportunities. The fiscal cliff is still there, unemployment is still too high, and the numbers on the national debt clock just keep spinning up and up. Still, new car registrations at the clerk and recorder's office are up. Regional building is issuing more permits. We are cautiously optimistic about the future of domestic energy production right here in our own backyard. And modest gains in local sales and use tax collections give local economists reason to have optimism, reasons to be excited about our opportunities to grow and prosper as a region in the year ahead. Toward that goal, El Paso County will continue to look for every opportunity to provide high-quality service at the lowest possible cost. We will continue our efforts to make sure that state and national government representatives and agencies understand the needs and priorities of our region and understand the importance of local control so that they don't do so many wrong things that wind up working against us. And we will expand our efforts and find new ways to collaborate with other government agencies, business leaders, nonprofits, faith-based organizations, and volunteers. Now, you've heard me say this before, and I promise I'll say it again. None of us in government can create jobs. CEOs, moms and pops, entrepreneurs, everyone in the private sector, they are the job creators. They are the ones who create all the jobs and the prosperity. Government can either support their efforts or get in the way. Here in El Paso County, we know our role. We know our place. We choose to support the private sector and human liberty and then get out of the way. I hope that you leave here today knowing that El Paso County is a committed partner in supporting your efforts to create jobs and build community. I also sincerely hope that everyone here is looking forward to a wonderful holiday season, a Merry Christmas, and a very prosperous New Year. Thank you so much for your friendships and your love of this entire region. We are so grateful to partner with you in every way we possibly can. Thank you for coming.